made this bad things happen to me? I'm experiencing these things because God wanted to. Like, why doesn't God just let me have good things?
There's so many scriptures in the Bible that talks about God disciplines whom those He loves.
Some people live in the past. Like a bad thing happened to them, so they're living there continuously. These bad things that happen to us, it's just a point of a bad thing. But God can move things forward. It's taking up space in their mind.
It's normal for Christians to go through challenging times and hard times.
An unsuspecting baby, yes or no? Bad thing or part of a plan? Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Way Too Stalking with me, Matthew. Wait, no, that's not a Julius, and I'm so thankful for everybody that watched the last video, that commented on the last video, that subscribed, and if you could do that again, let's try to just get to 5 likes in this video. But today we got a important guest all the way from over the border, all the way. I was gonna say from overseas, but there's no seas that separate us. A guy that supports Liverpool even when they're losing so much during the season. The guy that always asks me, "Hey Matthew, did you eat 6 rolls today? How much rolls and chips did you have?" Or the guy that asks, "Hey, going to Blue because I need a lift." We got the main man, the one and only Ashely School.
Yes.
How you doing, brother?
Good in yourself, man.
I'm doing well.
Glad to be here with you, man.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice having you on the podcast. We actually communicated a lot trying to get this.
Finally.
We since January I think we were trying to organize, and finally we
I hope to do more of this with you.
Yeah, but of course we must just align our timelines.
Yes, I know you're quite busy.
No, you're so busy. You have like soccer, and then you have youth, and then church,
and then gym,
and then also skitting with John.
From gym?
Yeah. It's because of the making the YouTube videos. That's why I took a break. But I'm trying to get back into it. I want to improve multiple aspects of my life. But how was your weekend? How's things?
Things is all good. My weekend was fine.
It was fun?
Good, yeah.
Okay.
Good, yes. Thank you. And how was your weekend?
My weekend. What did I do the weekend? Oh yeah, it was for my friend's wedding. So I don't know if you know
Leah, Michael, yes.
Sean and Rico and Roxanne was also there.
Yes,
Yeah, it was really nice. Just like the whole thing. Of course, I'm getting married end of the year. So
wow.
So
fantastic.
I'm just taking notes, taking things, and it was nice. And then of course church on Sunday, like trying to join the sound team and stuff.
Sound team, yeah. I saw you were
I came to Ashley and asked Ashley. I was asking Ashley like, "Oh, hey, bro, what problems do you have here at the sound team?" And he's like, "Matthew, can we talk after church? I'm focusing here." I'm like, "Okay, brother, okay, yo, no reason to attack me." But yeah, today we got a topic. Ashley also said when we were discussing topics, we also like, let's keep it to Christianity, because you do want to inspire people in the walk and following after Christ.
Yes.
And yeah, any people that's watching, give message comments down below or questions that you have about the topic, and yeah, Ashley and myself will react to them. But yeah, without further ado, do you want to read the title of the topic, or should I?
I can read it.
Okay, so this is the topic for today.
So the topic: stop saying God made bad things to happen to you, or all for a plan.
Yeah. So. Stop saying God thinks bad things happen. Stop. Okay, I was reading it wrong. Stop saying God made bad things happen to you, or just for it's part of a plan. Yeah, and
this is quite a very difficult topic to discuss. You can already see we're struggling to
you can't even read it.
You
can't even read it. So how we gonna talk about it?
Yes.
Talk about it properly. But yeah, I don't know where we stand on the topic, where you are and where I am. But as we discuss, we'll see, like, are you for that or you against it? And yeah, for those looking at the blue shorts, don't worry about it. It just is what it is. It's not my blue shorts. This is John 3:16's blue shorts. He was on the podcast. If you haven't watched that, I will link it up there. You guys can go watch on YouTube. But anyway, So stop saying God made bad things happen to you. Do you agree with it, or do you not agree with it?
I disagree to some extent.
To some extent.
Yes,
So-
and then I do agree as well. But firstly, let me say that God, when God created us, we know that God loves us. He gave His only begotten Son.
Yeah.
That was His love to all humankind in the earth. So I don't think that when it's like He wishes us to experience bad things in
yeah.
life. He loves us, and he obviously wants us to see us thrive and doing well in life and doing good things.
Yeah.
So I don't think at all God wants us to experience bad things. But sometimes bad things do happen, and then we sometimes learn some good things,
Yeah.
and
From-
sometimes we learn from those experiences about what God has for us or what God wants us to do. So
So-
that's how I think.
So yeah, so when I wrote this topic down, right, it was more on the fact that people will say that, oh no, what if God, no, but you see, God could have let this bad thing happen to you so that you could learn. It's more of a testimony. So that's when I wrote this topic down. That's what some people say, but I don't fully agree with it. I do agree that God can take you from any situation and can move you into a better situation, and that's the testimony. But to say the bad thing happening to you is part of the testimony, I don't fully agree with that. And that's why for this topic, stop saying bad things happen to you because of God's plan. Like I don't fully agree to that. Okay, let me actually ask you a few things, and then you can tell me if this is part of God's plan or not part of God's plan.
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
so let's say I'm just go through some questions. Okay, failing a test at school.
Failing a test at school.
Can you say what's okay? Stop saying God made bad things happen to you. Can you say failing a test at school, that was part of God's plan for you to fail?
That's kind of a tricky question. But what I would say is that if you do fail a test, it's sometimes shows that you didn't prepare enough.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if you fail, maybe there is a reason why you failed. Because if I can share from my personal experience, like I come from Zim, and the first time I came to Cape Town was in
Maybe
I
that's
can't
just
remember,
that's so far.
2014. Yeah, I can't remember.
So far.
But I remember I went back to Zim to complete my grade 10, and then unfortunately I failed my grade 10.
On that side.
On that side, yes. I got the results while I was here in South Africa
Oh,
already.
okay.
And then when I failed, I had plans to go back to Zim and continue with my education there. That's
Oh, okay.
But due to like sometimes life situations and what happens in your life, and then I had to do my matric this side.
Yeah.
So, which also leads me to experience other side of life when I was here. So, but before that, my plan was when I wrote the grade 10 exams was that if I do pass, I'm going back to Zim.
So if you passed in some, you will stay in some.
I was gonna stay in Zim.
Okay.
I was gonna just continue with my education.
Okay,
there,
I didn't know.
Go to university that side. Yeah. So that was the actual plan
Yeah.
before I even came to 10 of Lemon.
Yeah.
So when I failed my grade 10, I said, I'll just continue with school here. I'll do my grade 11 and 12 here this side. So you see, so it worked out in my favor actually.
Yeah.
That it was actually good that I failed my grade 10 back in Zim so that I could be here.
You could be here. Could
And
experience
then
it.
I could experience things here. I could become born again here. I could become a Christian here. Which are some of the things that I wouldn't have gotten while I was still in Zim.
Yeah,
So
I can understand that. But so you see, on that, I would say that like there was like something happened where there was, let's say there was a bad thing in terms of failing. However, even though you failed, God still took you through. God still helped you, like, on the side. Even let's say you passed, even if you passed in some and you went there, I still believe God would have supplied for you that side.
Absolutely.
And it's just the thing is, and that's why I say these bad things that happen to us, it's just a point of a bad thing, but God can move things forward. It's not like I don't personally. Do you think that God wanted you to fail there, or is it like if you studied harder, or if you put in the time, do you think you would have passed?
Yes, definitely. I would have paused if I to put more effort in. And but you see, I like what the Bible says. It says what the enemy meant for evil, God will always turn it for good.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same with our experiences. If you experience bad thing, or even if you fail, God is not gonna laugh at you and say, "Oh, you failed,"
imagine God laughs at you when that happens.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. He's a God of love, but you encourage you to keep pushing and you give you strength. Like the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I actually like the first one that you said, like the enemy. What's it about? Say again.
What the enemy meant for evil.
Yeah, we turn it for good. Yeah. So it's like, especially we know this, that bad things in life, those things can weigh you down. Like you could just focus on that. Let's say, for example, the test that you did, like, oh, now you failed. You could like just feel like forever like I'm a failure. I can't even do this. I can't even go back to Zim and stuff. That like the enemy can just pushing that things in your head. But that's also where it's like it doesn't. God can. That's why I believe like bad things happen.
Yes.
But like God will change those things for you. Yes. It's not like, oh, God wanted these bad things to happen. Of course, we're living on Earth. There's a lot of things can happen in life. Like right now, a missile could just come out of nowhere.
Yes, exactly.
But God, I believe that like as that scripture, enemy wants to laugh at you and make you feel like a loser and wants you to stay in that defeat. But God wants to make you victorious. He wants to show the world like, my son will not be weak in these areas.
I happened to watch a program this week by one of the ministers in America. He wrote a book called Redeeming the Time.
The time?
Yes, Redeeming the Time. So he talks about how God can redeem your time, how he can put everything together. Let's say, for example, you were like a drug addict. Let's say you've been experiencing bad things before. Your life before you met Christ was in a complete mess. Yeah. And then you come to Christ. God can actually redeem. He can actually remove that past. And then you enter into the new future with Christ. Where it's like you got born again, you got saved, you accepted Christ. So it's a new journey. Yeah. You are a new creation. So now you start looking at life from that perspective.
Oh, from a different point of view.
So your past experiences, your bad things, it doesn't really define you anymore. Because you now stepped into a new creation, into something that God has for you.
Yeah, that's actually powerful. And that's also my thing where we talk about like another thing on this topic of stop saying God made bad things happen to you, right? Yes. People would take that as a negative, like why God made this bad things happen to me. I'm experiencing these things because God wanted to. Like, why doesn't God just let me have good things? Yes. And people can just be like, this is why I don't serve God. But the thing is, as we said, like there's certain points in life where bad things can happen to you, and it's not like, oh, God like sent it like he's like, let's say God's not like this in heaven, like okay, come here, car accident, car accident, I want you to go there to Ashely. Okay, you see Ashely there, go to Ashely and then give him a car accident because like, oh, I want to make sure that Ashely can I want him to have this bad experience with a car accident, and I want Ashely to become stronger. He doesn't do that. That's not the way I believe. I don't think like God's like saying, okay, tornado or like tsunami or earthquake, go there to Turkey, or what's it called, a tornado, go to like America. Yeah. It's like if these things happen, but then God's like, even at that point where these things happen, remember that bad thing happened, but it's still in the past, as you said.
Yes.
Being in God can redeem that time. And I also think that's true, because when I think of my life before Christ and while in Christ, it's like those things in the past, it doesn't hold me down, because it's like those things are past experiences. There's a new future for me.
For you,
yes. Yeah. What thing was it that you watched? By who? Do you know what it was?
His name is Troy Brewer. He's is one of the end time preachers there.
Oh, is he? You gotta watch it on YouTube or what?
I watched it on Daystar Television. It's also on YouTube.
So again, Troy
Brewer.
Troy Brewer. Okay, maybe I'll check.
He actually wrote a book called Redeeming the Time.
Sure.
How can God? He actually.
Do you want the book? You think about getting the book or?
I thought about getting the book, but I like to listen to the stories. I'm not a big fan of reading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he actually shared some powerful things. He said before he used to like do researches on time and what is time? How does time work here according to eternity? How God sees time? Because I've heard many times that like when you get to heaven, like there's no time in the spiritual realm. There's no time.
Also that, yeah.
Time is we only limited by time
on earth, yeah.
So he said one day he was sitting in a truck and he was complaining about why does this train you have to wait so long for this train to come pause. You know, like if you're waiting here by Spar, here by the crossing.
Oh yeah, where
you have to wait for the train to pause while you're waiting for to go over to the other side.
Yeah.
So he said he was having this complaining in his spirit. Then he said he immediately encountered the spirit, like the presence of God filled his car, his truck that he was in, and then it's like God showed him a train. So he said God put him on top of the train. He took him on top of the train, and then he started seeing the train going past, like huge train, long train, and then he said he got a revelation that God sees everything that happens here on earth from when it started to when it's going to end.
Yeah, I believe
so he knows your future already from where it started and when it's going to end. So that's how God looks at all the things at the same time. But for us, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So we just have to trust the one that does know all things.
Yeah, and that is true. I think again, like I told you earlier before we had the podcast, I'd say that we're going to probably jump onto the thing of God knows things and He knows what's going to happen and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and that kind of filters into this, but let's not. I'll get back. Let me write that down so we know we gotta get back to that. So let's say God knows, okay? Because I don't want to touch on that now. I do want to touch on that God knows all things, but I don't fully want to touch on it now because I feel that me and you will have a nice discussion on that. But so in terms of so we gave an example of, let's say, the school thing and passing a test, okay? I'm gonna give you some other ones. So I just want to just say a yes or no to the questions, okay?
Yes or no.
Yeah. So just a yes or no to what you what's it called? To the questions I'm going to ask. Anybody that's watching also, like let us know down below any questions that you have on bad things that you think that God wants you to experience. Let me know. Okay, so yeah, like one of the things is Jonathan is saying, like, in any plans of God is always good. Yeah, everything can, like, I believe everything can be turned to good also. So that's very powerful. So hey Seth. So let me ask you this. Okay, a car accident, is that part of God's plan? Not a part. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I get you can tell me if it's part of God's plan or not part of God's plan. Okay. This is odd. This is odd because of course now you're saying, I'm not saying like I'll speak for God. I'm just saying, do you think that that's good? You can just answer yes or no. If you say no to everything, that's fine. But let me just ask the question, and then you can go. Okay, so a car accident.
To me personally, I would think it can be God's plan. It cannot be God's plan.
For both, but, maybe.
Yes, but sometimes, you see, there are so many questions that we do have in life. Like what you just mentioned about the accident.
Yeah.
Maybe a sudden death of a family member.
Yeah.
That you won't know.
Okay, wait. Do you think that a sudden death of a family member is part of God's plan or not part of God's plan?
Like what I said, it can be part of God's plan and it can
Why not?
be.
Okay. So it's again
yes, but sometimes this is just from hearing what other people say about their past experiences, that sometimes God is not going to give you all the answers that you have.
Yeah, that is true.
Because sometimes you ask him for certain question like, Lord, why did this accident have to happen? But you're not going to know maybe until you get to heaven.
Until you get to heaven.
But you always trust God's plan. You obviously going to keep going and keep trusting God, regardless whether he gave you an answer or not. Because he knows the best. That's what I say.
So Seth asks, I feel like God's plan can either be revealed to you or you can see God's plan after the matter. How everything fell into place perfectly, like Tanashi's testimony. So he's asking our thoughts. So do you agree with that or you disagree?
If I can just like share from my experiences that sometimes you go through certain challenges and certain things in life where you are a Christian. You go through certain valleys and certain like challenges that are extremely hard. You sometimes ask yourself, is God even real in this situation?
Where's God in the situation?
Where's God? Like things is just going hectic, like you won't understand. But most of the time it's there, and sometimes you'll be maybe preparing you to something that is prepared for you.
I also think some of that,
So sometimes you have to persevere in order for you to come out
the other side.
To come out on the other side that God is for you. So like for example, there's so many scriptures in the Bible that talks about God disciplines whom those he loves. So sometimes it's normal for Christians to go through challenging times and hard times. But I think the most important thing is to keep looking at Jesus, keep asking God, keep your faith and trusting God for the better season of your life. I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, so
also the other thing is if you look at most of the Bible characteristics.
Characteristics of what God wants.
No, like the people in the Bible.
There's
so many people that have gone through bad experiences. Like worse things than us.
Way worse.
Way worse things than. But
like just one, we can just think of Job, Job, like for that.
Job, yes, exactly. Like that story is like.
No, but that God really saw a man that will follow after him.
That will follow after him. I like what Job said. He said, though he slay me, yet I will suffer for him. So he lost children. He lost his livestock.
Even his I think there's also like sores on his body. So even lost his appearance.
But he kept his faith. And then God came through in the end. So we can draw some hope in that story.
Okay, so I want to do this for us, but then also for the people that's going to watch. So also answer along. So what we're just gonna answer with let's like how do I do this now? Okay, so I'm just gonna ask questions and then like we can post answer. In the last video we had a board and we wrote on the board like our answer, just a yes or no. So maybe you want to do it again? So I ask a question, you write yes or no, then we turn it, we show the people. You want to do it or just wanna?
I'll just say yes.
Okay. Okay, so we said the car accident is a maybe. We said that the unsuspected deaths is a maybe. So
yes.
So I'm gonna ask the question, and then I'm gonna people can answer whoever's watching, and then you can answer and I can answer. So okay, unsuspecting baby, yes or no? Bad thing or part of a plan? You go first, and I'll say mine after. Just yes or no. Then we can discuss further down. Unsuspecting baby.
I'll take both answers. I know you want me to say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
But look here, I'm not just looking at this from my perspective. I'm also looking from like godly perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you saying for this one? You saying yes. Or you
saying both? I say yes and no.
So you say it's part of God's plan. Also, but also could not. Again.
Could not be part of God's plan.
Okay. Let's think of another one. Let's think of skydiving, and the parachute does. You know what skydiving is? We jump out the plane. Yes. Skydiving, and the parachute doesn't work, and then you fall and you die. Part of God's plan or not part of God's plan? Yes or no? We can
not part of God's
not
plan.
part of God's plan. Okay. Let's think of another one. I'm speeding. Okay, this is similar to the accident one, but I'm speeding on a highway.
Yes.
And I get into an accident and I survive, but someone else dies. Part of God's plan or not part of God's plan? Don't answer it. Just no. Okay, now I'll give the same one but differently. I'm on the highway driving the proper speed, but still get in an accident and someone dies. Part of God's plan or not part of God's plan? I'm driving normal speed. It says 100. I'm driving 100.
Yeah, I would go for both answers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I would go for I would say part of God's plan there for that one. It sounds like the exact same. Like one is speeding and then you get in an accident and someone dies. That's not God's plan. But then this one, driving normal speed and get in an accident, God's plan. I know it sounds very similar. You're both on the road, both driving cars, but I have two different things. Let's say you're making food and you cut your finger off. I'm giving hectic examples. I'll get to easier examples after this one. But you're making food and you cut your finger off. God's plan or not God's plan?
Definitely not God's plan. Definitely.
I will be kind of maybe a bit of a maybe on that one. Okay.
that was a good one.
Because it's very okay. So let's just give a lighter topics or not like certain things that maybe could happen. Let's say someone asks you something and then you let's say ask you a question, but then you let's say you lie about it, but then they find out. Let's say
the truth.
Let's say for example for like this. Let's say I found a 10 and you ask like where's the 10? I lost my 10 and I tell you like I don't know. I don't have a 10 rand. But then you realize I did. Like someone saw me pick up a 10 rand and then I'm like you caught me. Like you think that's part of God's plan or not part of God's plan for you to find out?
It could be part of God's plan to find out. Yes.
What? Let me think of something else. What else is there? Oh, load shedding. do you think load shedding is part of God's plan or not part of God's plan?
Not part of God's plan.
So do you have anything that you want to ask me a question on God's plan, not God's plan? If you have any other thing, because I'm thinking I was any more. Like I know there's hectic ones that I could give, but I don't want to go too hectic in our conversation, or not on that level, but yeah. So for a lot of those things, right? It's very hard to figure out exactly, or from a human perspective, because that's the main thing. We don't know what the bad things that God allows and other things that let's say he allows for your growth and other things that he doesn't allow, just part of human nature. Yes. I actually do have another one, and this is a hectic one, but being like sexually assaulted, like the we can't really say it on stream, but the RAPE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I happened to hear that discussion with it turned out to be a big thing at your work the other day. Yeah.
Oh, so what do you think?
So it was regarding it started is abortion fine? Is abortion not fine?
Then you went to all the other things, yeah.
Yes. So it obviously
okay for that one for abortion, like of course there's coming to some they say it can affect you in a certain way, or like people see it as a bad thing, like the baby's there, so now I'll get rid of the baby. Do you think it's a part of God's plan or not? Or not part of God's plan?
To be honest with you, look, I don't even have to include my opinion. I have to say what the word of God says. Yeah. And abortion is murder. It's killing. Yeah. It's basically coming here and murder you. Yeah. The reason why I say that is because in the Bible it says that before before you were created in your mother's womb, God already knew you. So which basically means that life starts in the womb.
Yeah.
By the moment your mother is carrying you in the womb, that's where life starts.
Yeah. That's true.
You are a human being already. You come into
point,
existence at that point. So now if a parent decides to abort the child that they're carrying, that's murder. You actually kill, and that's a sin.
Yeah.
That's
so
wrong.
that's yeah. I also have that same thing.
I know sometimes people try and like defend themselves and say, "Oh, but this was not planned. I didn't want this child."
Yeah.
Of course you didn't want that child, but trust God and then just raise that
just,
child.
Yeah,
and
it's
give
very
it to God.
it's a very tough question
It's
because
a very
on the
tough question.
let's just call it grapes because it's still
Yes.
let's just say grape, yeah. So on that matter, do you think like that's part of God's plan or not part of God's plan? Because some people will bring that up as, let's say a baby comes from that from grape, then like isn't it like, do you want this person to carry this child even though it came out of that sexual assault thing? So what do you think? Do you think it's like part of God's plan or not? Or should I answer first, because I know my answer there. For me, I don't think it's God's plan. I think the person decided to do that, and that's kind of a lot of my answers to these things is someone decided to do the thing, and like if they didn't, that wouldn't happen. So in other words, the driving fast on the highway, getting in a car accident, that's my fault.
Yes.
But just driving on the highway and something happens like randomly, that's not my fault.
Yes.
You can't blame me for that. In terms of let's say again, you walk outside, someone robs you. Is it your fault? Is it God's plan for that to happen? I don't really think so. I think that person decided to do something evil, because we all have free will. And that's kind of where my topic is on, like stop saying God, like bad things, or stop saying God made bad things happen to you. Everyone has a choice. I can slap you right now if I wanted to.
Yes.
You could. Like, I could. And it's like, is that part of God's plan? Nah, it's like I just wanted to slap you.
Yes.
And I know that it's very hard for this, because in terms of people see things in the past that happen as growth to move to where they are now. It's like there was a stepping stone. That to say, like, because when I say like the past, like those bad things in the past, it's just a bad thing. It almost takes the power out of you got over that.
Yes.
So for example, Zoe left me in 2019. Like we broke up, and that was like devastated, like depression, like what is the purpose of life? I had those thoughts and stuff, right? And for me to look back on it now, and I can just say, like, that's a bad thing that happened. Like I felt all that, but God gave me a way forward.
Yes.
But to say like that was fully part of God's plan, I feel like, again, a yes and a no, because even from the God grew me to be a better person. But I also feel that if, let's say, Rose and myself didn't break up, I feel like if God would have still taken me to be a better person. But it's just the breakup just made me grow faster. And I feel that's why this topic is a bit hard, though, because some people strongly believe that bad things are good. Like go through bad times because it grows you, and it does. We know this. It matures you faster.
Yes. Sometimes.
But it's also still a bad thing. Like I said, if I slap you, you're gonna feel the pain. You don't want that.
Yes.
I
think with regards to this topic, you have to like look at what you're going through, the experience, the bad things that you're going through from God's perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, because sometimes the bad things that people go through, it's because of their actions. It's the consequences of the decision they make. And then sometimes, like people say, like everything happens for a reason. God knows. Yeah. Not everything happens for a reason. And because, for example,
okay, now we can get on. You see, even say God knows. Then remember, I typed that down. We can get onto that now. Let's go.
For example, if you go and have sexual intercourse with a girl, and then she falls pregnant, and then she have a child, and
continue.
You it's you had a child outside of marriage.
Yeah.
The proper way that God designed is for you to get married first and then you have sexual intercourse.
That is so true.
But you have the baby now and say, oh, it's part of God's plan.
Or you say it's like, yeah, so this bad thing, I call it this bad thing happened to me. It's like if you didn't have intercourse, you wouldn't have the baby.
Have the baby. So sometimes it's our actions that create all these consequences. And then there are sometimes where God will put you through like an experience or what the Bible calls a wilderness in order to prepare you to keep your perseverance, so that your perseverance can produce this character that God requires in you. Something like that. So you have to be you have to evaluate things from both perspectives, because this world also, there's a lot of things that happens in this world. People make their own decisions and then they come to God afterwards and then they ask God to bless that, but it was not God's intention for you to maybe
to do that in that
that. So we can relate it to anything.
Damn it, I forgot the question I wanted to say now. I remember you said something earlier and I was just like, it just hit me hard and now I can't remember it.
I think somebody
Jonathan asked the question of a question, why did Jesus ask God to let this cup pass from him? So you know in the Bible where it's like Jesus was praying to God and he used to ask God like, please don't let this cup pass from me. In other words, don't send me to the cross. I think for that one, Jesus knew what was going to come, and like of course like Jesus was fully God but also fully human also. Or he was, what was the statement? What's the statement? He was fully God but also human, or was it fully God and fully human?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah,
but
so,
what I think from that, why he said
let the cup pass from me.
Let the cup pass from him. If you look at that, verse, it says that your will be done, not mine. So he was basically surrendering to God.
Yeah. And
he was giving everything to God and say, Lord, if this is your will for me, it's fine for me. But if this is not, don't let it pass me.
So that's the thing also. Like, let's say that's actually a good thing. So let's get on to the point now of God knows. Like, okay, let's before we get in that, let's just see what Noel says. If it's not part of God's plan, is it bad? Like having a child without being married, it may not have been God's plan, but does that make it bad? I think that for me on that question, I think that it can be a bad thing the way that you perceive it. Like some people can have a baby and just be like super happy about it. You can take anything with a good mindset. Like bad things can happen, you can smile about it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna grow from this. However, when we say it's not part of God's plan, we serve a God that even when I sin, He still makes a way for me, back to Him.
Yes.
Of course, there's a certain point when you die, and if you were sinning up until that point, and you're a bad person up until that point, you're gonna die, and then God, you can't make your way back when you're dead.
Exactly, yeah.
However, I do think for that there is bad things that happen. That's the way that you perceive it. But regardless, let's just say a child was a bad thing out of wedlock, out of marriage, right? Even with that doesn't mean that that's the end of the world. Like, oh, God's just gonna leave you. Like, it's your problem. Like, as we said, like your example with Zimbabwe and the test. Like, there was a bad thing. Like, oh, damn it, I failed my test. I can't go back to Zimbabwe. But regardless, do you fully regret that? Did God from this point? God took you. He helped you. He gave people on your way. He added people, and you kept on saying, God, help me, guide me, give me what you desire. So it's like a bad thing can happen, but again, just from let me talk just to like normal people that don't serve Christ. A bad thing can happen, but then your mindset of like turning that thing into good, you can do that. But in terms of like just God, I mean, and how we walk, bad things that happen, and God will take you further. Yes. God will, and the main thing is, as we said that, as even you said, what's your plan for my life, and guide me on that plan, so I don't make more dumb decisions.
Yes.
Like, let's say we decide, here's Ashley's arm, we're gonna cut it off. And then it's like, just because it's funny, and then we're like, damn it, that was a dumb decision. But then from that point onwards, let's make better decisions moving forward. I'm just
Is that a good drink, by the way?
energy. I'm hype for Christ, guys.
So yeah.
So wait, what do you want to talk about? I want to get onto God knows, God's plan things.
Yes. Oh yeah. So I know we can spend a lot of time, obviously, talking about this in God knows. But if I can just go back to Noel's question, maybe you can just read out the question for me.
Oh, again. Let me read out the question. If it's not part of God's plan, is it bad? Okay. Like having a child without being married, it may not have been God's ideal plan for you, but does it make it a bad thing?
Obviously, as Christians, we know what's right and what's wrong, and we know the path that we should follow. For example, if I come to you now, I say, Matthew, can we go rob a bank now? There's an opportunity to.
There's an opportunity, yes, we can make money. Yeah, let's go.
In your mind, in your conscience, you know what's right and what's wrong. From a human perspective, you know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And from a godly perspective, you know what's right. You know what the Bible says. It says don't steal, or don't murder, don't lie, and all those things like that. You already know. So you make a decision from that perspective of is what I'm doing, is it biblical? Is it something that God would be pleased with if I do something like this? And then if I were to answer
the question.
No's question
on the child.
It depends on the situation, how it happened. If it happened, like, let's say somebody got that word.
Yeah, grape, yeah.
And then it wasn't intentional. It happened like it was an unexpected thing that happened.
Yeah, someone decided to do that.
I don't know how God would look at it, but it's understandable. You can still move on, and God can still change your story.
Okay, now I'm gonna hit you with a hectic thing now, no? But finish the thing.
Yes, and God can still make a way for you. He can still bless you and all these things. But there's a difference if you do it intentionally. Like you know, where I'm heading here, it's something that God is not pleased with. I don't have the fear of God in doing this. Like, this is something wrong.
Okay. Then I get you.
I don't think it will be God's plan for your life for that. I hope it answers this question.
Yeah. So it's more about the intention behind things when you know things are wrong.
Say that again.
Your intention behind things when you know things are wrong.
Yeah, I think like what you said, your intentions. If your intentions are pure, like if your intentions are more clear, then I think that's what really matters. Because the Bible says men judge the outside appearance, but God looks at the heart. So your intentions in doing some things are more important than just the action that you do.
Okay. So I want to touch on that. I'll touch that on a different podcast on murder as a whole, because murder is something that everyone knows is bad, but people still do it. But then, like, some murderers come back to Christ, and we say like that's like they come into God. So we'll touch that on a different. I don't want to touch that here because that's a deeper thing. Maybe me and you can even talk on that a different day. We see. That's what the people decide. But let's I want to go on to just like for this last few minutes that we have on God knows. So a lot of people have the point of view of that God knows all things, that from your beginning to the end, God knows.
Yes.
So now the issue with that is when people with that statement, God knows all things, then why can't, like, God, we say that God doesn't want bad things to happen to you, so why doesn't he inform you of those bad things beforehand? So it's like, oh, the car accident. We will stay on the car accident or something. Let's say he knows that the car accident is gonna happen, so why can't he just inform you about it?
The only way I can answer this question is from what the word says.
Okay.
The Bible says in Hebrews that Jesus forgave us our sins to deliver us from this present evil world. So, which means this world is already evil. This world is already corrupted. Like, we're living in a world. I'm sure you can see things that are happening now. Extremely bad, evil and stuff. And then Jesus said, be of good courage. In this world, you have many tribulations. You have many sufferings. You go through things.
Jonathan even says life seems pretty unfair.
Yes. So Jesus already told us that we will go through these things, but be of a good cheer. Take heart, I've overcome the world. So we already have somebody that have overcome the world already on our side.
Yeah, on our side.
But we will still go through those things.
Yeah.
So I think we'll still go through bad challenges, bad things in life and stuff like that. But we always know that Jesus already overcame the world, and we can always stay in
I completely agree with you on that. Yes. I believe that bad things that happen in life is part of life. Let's say I'm just walking and I knock my toe against the bottom of the door frame.
Yes.
Like it's frick sore.
Very, very
However, I can't be like, yo God, my word, how dare you hurt, how dare you make me get sore. Like that's just a part of life. It's like there was an accident, it's a small mistake, but to blame everything on, let's say, oh, it's God's fault that these things happen. That's kind of my problem. I believe that, as we said, there's some things where God wants things to happen in your life, and there's some things where people decide for these things to happen. We take the child, because we're on the child topic a lot, right?
Yes.
Maybe not. We'll leave out the grape stuff thing. We just take from unexpected babies, right? So, like, there's like, let's say God wanted you to have a child here, but now you're having intercourse over here. Therefore, a baby can happen, but it's just because you decided to have intercourse in this section. God wanted you to have intercourse from this section onwards, because He knew you will be. He knew, like, when you come to this point of your life, if like, oh, let's say I had a plan for your varsity. He wanted to get you here following the plan He had, like Christ, like Jesus's whole walk. And that's my thing. That's why I believe like God has this perfect plan for you, but you can also make your own decisions and stuff. Because when you look at Jesus' thing, it says it in the Old Testament what happened to Jesus. It says it even in the New Testament what's supposed to happen to Jesus, and what happened. The things that was prophesied happened. There was that Adam and Eve ate from the apple, but they say like a what's it called, from the garden. But then, like, Jesus here, when God even said He will send someone like in Isaiah to take our place.
Yeah.
He said that, and it comes, and then it takes the place. He even says that someone will in this room will betray me, and then it's like God knows these plans, and the thing is, you want, like, to say like Judas mustn't supposed to betray Him. It's like, nah, it's like He knew that it's going to happen, and it's a person after that. But it's junk that like, it is junk, because then it, like, some people can view like, oh, if God knew that Judas is gonna be a bad guy, and so Judas is gonna die as a bad guy. I don't. That's actually a very good thing. I'll discuss it in another video, not now, because it's like, if God wanted Judas to be the bad guy. Or maybe I don't want to question. I don't want to question that right now, because that's a bit deep. But I believe that there's this perfect timeline. It's weird that I'm trying to draw it.
Yes.
But I don't have no lines. So let's say, okay, I'm gonna use my. It's a perfect timeline. This is God's plan for your life. But you get to make decisions where, oh, I have intercourse over here in this section. So therefore, a baby comes in this section, but that wasn't what God wanted for you. God wanted you to have a baby, like, oh, let's move this thing down. God wanted you to have a baby over here. This is when God wanted you to have a baby, but now you're having a baby beforehand, and that's not what God wanted. But regardless of that, even if you have a baby like in this section over here, God can still show you ways for like this. You did something that's wrong, but I can show you a way to come back to me, and then we can continue on your journey with just with a new with even the mistakes that you did. And that's the whole thing of the murderer thing. Like someone can murder, but like if they genuinely change their life and follow after Christ, like those things in the past, that God, like it's hectic. Like you took someone's life, and it's so. It's the worst.
It's the worst, yeah. Even sometimes I question myself, like.
But God loves us so much, and He wants to say that you're a bad person and just stay a bad person. That's. Imagine like I slapped you, and then like, hey, now I'm a slapper. I'm gonna go slap everyone because it's like that's how people's mindsets are. If you are murder, you're murder for life. You're good for nothing. That means that good for nothing person can just be good for nothing for forever. And I don't believe that. I believe that you get to make decisions, but God does have a perfect plan for you, because just as Christ as evidence, Christ is the evidence that shows that God had a plan for the world, and He accomplished that plan through Christ.
Yes.
And you can't tell me that is lies. You can't tell me that in the Old Testament things that were written way before Christ, that was written what's going to happen. And then in the New Testament, years after those things were written, that it happened. You can't tell me that, those two things are just a coincidence, that a man just wrote this. This is just a storybook. People, it's like, how is that even possible? How is it even possible for me to write in 20 years, in like 100 years time or something?
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen? Exactly what's going to happen. Like, exactly. And it's like, it's like, the Jews and the Christians were in cahoots. They were just trying to accomplish the plan to brainwash people. Like, it's part of God's plan. And you again, everyone that watches, you can have your point of view of, I don't believe in God. God doesn't know these things. If God is true, then He shouldn't let bad things happen to me. I can understand that everyone has their point of view. You can have all your own opinions. But when I just look at the facts and I look at what God actually wants for our lives, He doesn't want bad things to happen to us, but He doesn't stop us from living a life. He doesn't stop us from walking and maybe stumping your toe, because then you would know, okay, I mustn't walk there anymore. I'm gonna walk this way around. But to say it's like all bad things are God's plan,
Powerful, what you're saying.
No, it's another video. I need to talk on the what's it called now? The will of God. It's more about the will of God, because some people have two different perspectives of the will of God. Some people see it as a timeline of everything that's supposed to happen to you is supposed to happen, but then I don't fully agree with that, because if you are a bad person, if God knows you're gonna die as a bad person, why should I try to be good? And you say that doesn't make sense. Because then it's like I can just do bad things my whole life. If I know I'm going to heaven, that means I can just do bad things for my whole life, and I'm gonna go to heaven. So I don't agree with that. God knows what you're gonna get to in the end. Like He predestined you to go to heaven or to hell.
Yeah.
Because then regardless of what I do, I can do whatever I want, because I know I'm going to heaven or hell. So that doesn't make sense. It's almost like my actions means nothing.
Yes.
And I don't. Why would God give me free will if my actions mean nothing? It's you get to decide. Do you want heaven, or do you want hell? Every Christian who has been born of the Spirit has the capacity to access the thoughts of God, which He reveals to us by His Spirit. It is any wonder then. Okay, I think maybe you're still typing, but. Yes. That is true.
That it is
when
true.
You
fully agree with it. Yeah, fully agree with it.
Noel saying what you're saying is awesome, because you're saying God cares even when the bad things happen to you. Look at Joseph, for example. His brothers sold him into slavery, but God was with him. Yeah. Yes. Is he the one that had the colorful cloak? Or is that's the one that they put him into like a hole, and the people got him out the hole?
I think yes.
Yeah, and then he became like king or something in there, and then the brothers came to him, and he got up his brothers. You could make a decision to, so like
he forgave his brothers also.
Yeah,
like, which was
even that's also, you see, that's even a thing there. It's like he could have like screw them. Like they did this bad thing to me, but like this
should
bad.
have get rid of them. And
Yeah, but he didn't do that.
Didn't
He
do
said he showed that this bad things happened to me. These people even did these bad things, but I'm gonna show you what the love of God will. And that's the thing. We can take these bad experiences. We don't have to blame God for it, and that's my thing. The topic is stop saying God made these bad things to happen to you, because some people just believe it. Like, for example, my arm gets cut off, and it's like, oh no, it's part of God's plan. But if I told you to cut my arm off, how can I say that is part? Like I said, actually cut my arm. How can I say that it's part of God's plan? It's not true. I decided that.
Yes.
And then, for example, for Joseph in the Bible, he could have said to his brothers, you know what, screw you. You threw me away. Go die. You have no food. Go die wherever you threw me away. Cool. That's on you. But he didn't do that, because that's not the decision he made. There was a bad thing that happened to him. God guided him. God guided him through it. His brothers made that bad decision, but he didn't let that bad decision affect him. And again, as you said about earlier in the podcast, that God can redeem your time.
Yes.
So it's like, regardless of that bad things that happen to you, you don't have to live in that bad thing. Because one thing before we end, like, I mean, while I was saying that, I was just thinking, some people live in the past. Like a bad thing happened to them, so they're living there continuously. It's like taking up their mind. Not necessarily not their mind. Let's not say their time, but it's taking up space in their mind.
In their minds, yeah.
Like, I'm continually thinking about like, this I'll use me for example. So we left me in the past. Like, oh, she broke up with me. Maybe she'll break up with me again. Like, oh, I'm going into marriage. Like, oh, this is gonna. Maybe I should have a prenup. Maybe I should do this, that. Because I'm so focused in the past.
Yes.
But if I can never grow from that point, if I never even let Rose grow from that point, from where we both adjust and grow together, I'm always living there, and it's taking up space in my mind and time just thinking about it.
Yes.
And I feel that's the sort of thing. Don't let the bad things just sit in your mind. It's a bad thing happens, but it doesn't end you.
Yeah, and still on the bad things also, I'm reminded of David in the Bible. David.
Which where what David before Goliath, David as king, David as
David is king.
Okay,
like
I just want to know what part of David's life you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll continue.
I think while he was a king also, he did many bad things. He committed adultery,
yeah.
he murdered people and stuff. But you see, David will always come before God and repent, and God will forgive him and he'll move on. And even the Bible says that he was a man after God's own heart.
Yeah.
Even when he did bad things and stuff like that. But you see, I heard many Christians, like some people say that, oh, but if this person in the Bible did it, so
why can't I?
Why can't I do it? God can always forgive me and stuff. But you see, God always look at your heart. You always judge your heart, because before you make a decision to, let's say, go and maybe commit adultery or something like that, it's something that you have already thought.
Yeah.
And God knows everything. You can't hide away and say, oh, God didn't know this thought. I'm just gonna go.
He knows that.
He knows the end from the beginning. He knows the entire future that He has for you and stuff like that. So there will be consequences, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like saying, it's like blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. Yeah. He says that sin cannot be forgiven. Yeah. That's what Jesus said. So sometimes committing a sin knowingly that, oh, what I'm doing here is bad. But you have to be careful that it might not be forgiven, because you did it intentionally without knowing. Because now
that's hectic.
Look at those people in the Old Testament. That time they were just living their lives. They didn't know some of the things that we know. Yeah. We have a privilege. We know in the Bible, like, we should go this way, we should follow this way. Sure. So you don't have to give an excuse.
That's a hectic
topic. That because somebody did it, so I have to do it and stuff like that. So
you know, I can't lie. I had that point of view of for a while or so of, now someone else did something bad. Why can't I do something better? So God forgave them. I can.
I also had those thoughts those thoughts sometimes do come to me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like you have to prepare your heart, man. You have to prepare your heart for certain issues that come your way. Like for example, you have to make a decision. I remember we discussed this. We discussed this at youth. Like before a temptation presents itself to you, you need to already have a like your response ready. Like, am I going to fall into this temptation or not? Before it even comes. Like for example, am I gonna commit murder?
Yeah.
Am I gonna rob someone? Or am I gonna steal something? You these are the things that you already have to make a decision before it happens. You already have to guard your heart. It says in the Bible, above all else, guard your heart with diligence, because out of it comes issues of life.
Sure.
So most of the things, that's why the heart is so important. That's what God looks at. He looks at your heart, because you might go and give somebody money now, but you didn't do it with a heart that's right.
Yeah.
You just gave it also that it can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So at the end of the day, God judges all. He looks at the heart, your intentions in doing this, something like that. So which is a big factor, and one of the things that can also help to establish your heart to a point where you become so sensitive to what's right and what's wrong is also studying the word and just reading the word through your heart.
Yeah, so you know what is right.
You know how to respond to certain challenges.
I might even have that as another podcast, because like the thing you said actually gave me a thing now. It's like the people in the old times, they didn't have Christ to give them that way. They had to, of course, have, let's say, Levites or people that goes into the Holy of Holies and stuff. They didn't have access to everything that we do. So is it people post Jesus's death, or we living, or Jesus' life, whatever, people post that, we actually living under more scrutiny compared to the people of the old times, because they didn't have Jesus and all these things. Because if you think about it, it's like we have access to the Bible, we have access to God's teachings, everything is in one place. But then if we do bad stuff and we know we're doing bad stuff, or we judge differently. Because okay, that's a whole different thing. Because I also have the question of, like, we through to go to heaven, we go through Christ, but then they with them didn't have Christ. So I don't know how did they get to heaven? Was it just because they were Jewish? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Hebrew.
I think.
But I don't want to talk on that now, because that's a whole another topic. Yeah. So just before we end off, let's see. So before anything happens in your life, God always talks to us. But God always talk to us is because we don't want to. Oh, it's because we don't want to hear Him. That's why bad things happen in our lives, which is true. So I also believe you're talking to our God and having a communication. God actually showing you these things are bad, these things are good. Maybe stay away from these people. Maybe not accepting that job. Maybe let's don't go out today. Or even God will let's say certain, we call it bad things happen, but they could be for a good reason. Like let's say, oh, I can knock my toe or something and my toe starts bleeding and I can't go out or something. But then, like, let's say, for example, someone was in the car, someone was speeding, got into an accident. Like, I believe like that God will use like the toe accident, the knocking your toe, to block you from the car accident. I have that mindset. I know that sounds very coincidence. It's like that's what I believe. Another thing, likewise, the Holy Spirit also talks to us in the realm of our thoughts. The voice of God often sounds like our own thoughts, but there is a subtle difference that you can discern through attention, which is also true. And the more time you spend in the Word of God and actually like just reading the Bible, that the Holy Spirit's way that He speaks and your thoughts almost becomes like seamless. Like your mind will start thinking like these are bad things, and the Holy Spirit will confirm, yeah, it's a bad thing, don't do that. And that's the thing, like to have, let's say, the knowledge of the Bible and the teaching of the Bible as part of your mind is the way that you do things and think about things. That makes stuff so easy, because you know these things are wrong, these things are right, do this, don't do that, and stay away from these things and maybe do these things because it brings me closer to Christ.
Yes,
but yeah. So again, before we end, the statement of stop saying God does bad. Stop saying God made bad things happen to you. Do you agree? You agree with that people should stop saying that, or do you think people should continue saying that?
I think we have to like use a different terminology when it comes
Different
to
sentence.
that.
Yeah.
Because some of the words that we words that we use, like it doesn't really make sense to like to us Christians believers.
Yeah.
I remember there's a pastor that he's also from Zimbabwe, but he's based in Joburg. He wrote a book called "Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People." It's a Christian book. I know what you're thinking now.
No. Continue. I don't lose the thought. Continue.
Yeah. So like, I think we have to look at it from a biblical perspective, and we have to follow what the Bible says and look at the experiences and the journeys that the Bible takes us through.
Yeah.
So only from there, then we'll be able to judge whether this experience God I'm going through is this God that's preparing me for something, or this is a bad experience from my own actions or from my own plans that I have. Because there are some things that are out of our control, like an accident. That's completely out of control. Yeah. Like what you said, if you're driving in the M5, you got in an accident, somebody just come in, then knocked you. That's out of your control. You understand? So it's hard for us to say it was God's plan or it wasn't God's plan. But of which, let's say you're speeding, you're driving above the
like 200 and the limit is 100.
And the limit is 100. Then obviously
you. It's in other words,
actions.
Your probability of getting into a bad thing goes up.
You see.
It's like also being drunk or doing drugs. You make dumb decisions.
So the consequences will follow your actions basically. Yeah. So you have to look at it in different ways. You have to evaluate what you're going through and stuff.
I think since we did this, maybe we should also do a thing of stop saying all good things are from God. Because you see, everybody will say this thing happened. It's just a spot. But you see, again, God also just allows things to happen in life. He will direct you to the proper things He wants for you. But like I thought, like, oh, you weren't message. I didn't think you were coming over. And so it's like, oh, now you did come, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm like, oh, no, thank you God for Ashely for actually coming. It's like I should actually thank God for Ashely. Like, oh, you said you jogged here, so it's more about like, oh, I can thank God that nothing bad happened to you on the way, rather than like, oh, it's like it's a God made this happen. It's God maybe it did want this, but it can't say everything. It's just like
everything. Yeah,
it's like let's say I go to the kitchen and there's bread or something. It's like okay, but I that's a deeper one because it is, I think I think it's worse than this topic.
Yeah, it is actually, because you actually reminded me of something that I've heard many some of the people that I follow, like Stephen Furtick, Michael Todd and stuff. Not everything that's good is godly. Yeah. Good and godly is two different things.
But
for example,
just a short now, because that's things we can go. We can take so
just
different
a short
podcasts.
One, yeah. For example, you're a single guy.
I'm not single.
I know. I'm just giving an example.
Guy.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm a fiance, bro.
Yeah, like for me,
I'm a single guy.
Yeah. So let's say I have a friend. But that friend, I'm like, I do like and stuff, but she's not a Christian.
Who's this friend? Tell me what the name is. Who's this friend?
She's not saved. She's not. She doesn't have Jesus in her life. She don't know God at all and stuff like that. And then I decided, I'm gonna pursue this girl, but she's not saved. If I ask her like about Christ, and she doesn't know anything at all.
Good point, yeah.
She don't even know that God exists or anything like that. And then, but I want to pursue this girl. She's a good girl. She's nice. She's very kind. She's very nice.
But later down the line,
down the line she doesn't have a relationship with Christ, she's the Bible call that unequally yoked.
Yeah.
I'm not equally yoked with that person.
Yeah.
So which means she is good, but she's not godly.
Yeah.
So there's two different things, you understand?
Yeah.
So for example, there can be an opportunity. Let's say you're a pastor right now. You're pastoring a church full time. And then an opportunity comes, Matthew, big company here is offering you
billions,
50,000
Yeah.
50,000 rand a month for
yours, a lot of money.
to do what they require you to do, like a job a job offer that comes. But God called you to be in ministry full time. But you see, it's a good opportunity that comes, but it's not godly.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
You know what? I can sum this up into a quick thing. It's the statement of like, for example, like let's say a female or a guy wants to sleep with you or something, like hey, this person wants to sleep with me. That seems like a good thing. But is it godly to do that outside of marriage? Because remember, it's a good feeling. Like like eating 6 rolls. See, it feels good.
It feels good.
Is it godly? Is it godly to eat so much? Maybe not. And that's the thing. We can sum it up into just that. It's that the things you perceive as good might not always be godly. Let's say, like again, for example, you could do something small. I could buy a jersey worth 3,000 or something. Yes. It's like, yours feels like a good thing, but it's like that's you're spending 3,000 on the top. It's like it's a godly. It's like maybe God wanted you to do something different with that money, smarter things. And that's what I just feel. But we can actually get into that, because as Jonathan also said about God allows good things. God allows good things to happen to bad people? ? So that's also a thing, which is I also think that's true. I do think God allows.
So I think it's you have to discern. You have to discern whether this is something that God will want me to have, or this is something that God wants me to do. Obviously, I think there's a verse in Hebrews. I think Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12 or 12 verse 4.
Yeah.
That talks about the word of God is a two-edged sword. It even piercing to the divided of spirit and flesh.
Oh.
So I think if you have a good relationship with God, if you presented with something that seems good or something that's good, you'll be able to discern whether I should go in that direction or not.
Yeah. But that's I can't lie. This was a very powerful topic that we went through.
Yeah. Also on that, I'm also reminded of the devil. Remember how the devil tempted Jesus?
Oh yeah, tempted. Yeah, that seems good. Like
it's
like,
good.
hey, just drink some water here. Hey, I'll give you some food.
The comparison, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
If you look at that, he tempted. He said, "I'll give you this whole kingdom. I'll give you." Those were good things that he offered Jesus.
Yeah.
But Jesus,
it wasn't godly.
It wasn't godly.
Yeah.
You see, so
yeah, I think we should do another one on the good things. As we talked about the bad things this time, I think it would be good to talk about the good things in the next thing. But yeah, to sum up everything that kind of like we kind of went through in this is that we need to discern what is good things. I mean, what is we need, in this topic of stop saying God made bad things happen to you. First off, you can't blame God for everything. That's my first thing. You can't say that just because these things you can't say all the bad things God made it happen, but then you can't also say another statement of this thing is you can't say that it's part of God's plan that these bad things happen to you. Because now the reason to those two is because some of the bad things happen out of your own decision making, and also out of other people's decision making. Like me slapping you, you didn't decide that.
Yes.
But I did. But you can say also, for example, for yourself, you can say Matthew slapped me, and you can get hurt, and it's like that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
But that was from you. So because we're living in life has its ups and downs.
Yes.
So and you gotta realize that God does have plans for you, but it doesn't mean that every single thing that happens in your life is like God wanted that to happen. And like God knows all things and He plans all things, but there's also I go to my sixth one. God gives you a free will. He gives you a free will
Yes,
to
yes.
choose things, and he gives everyone a free will, not just the good people that follow him. He gave everyone a free will. So therefore, we get to choose how we live life. You get to choose how you live life. I get to choose how I live life.
Yes.
And then I think again for this, as you said, we need to change the way that we say this. We shouldn't say that. Stop saying God made bad things happen to you. Maybe we should say that there was bad things that happened to me. Some things were from God, and some things I learned that it was just a bad thing, and I've grown from there. Like I think the sentence is the problem for me. That's why I wrote it down. I think that people just start believing things like it's okay. And I think my main one about this was the whole grape thing. It's like it was maybe what it's like. The question is, what if the person got graped and it's as part of what God wanted them to be, a testimony for people? And it's like, you really think that's the type of God that we serve? I know that you can use anything for the glory of God, but to say that God let that happen to you, I don't know. Like we could have talked about like you a few years ago. Of course, you also lost your mother and stuff, and like to say like that was like intentionally, like that's supposed to happen, because it's like I know everyone does die eventually, yes. But like intentionally saying like this is supposed to happen to actually at this point, I don't think so. But yeah, I just think we need to evaluate the way we say things and also understand who God is. And that's my issue with a lot of these things. People just say stuff because they also heard it. It's oh no, God planned you to have this good thing, or no, the bad things that happen is all part of God's plan. It's not all the bad things. I don't think so. Because imagine I just cut off your legs now and it's like, yeah, it's part of God's plan. It's a bad thing, but God wanted it to happen. So
okay, I think I gave a perfect example that even some of the bad things that will happen, sometimes it can be the devil.
Yeah.
It can be the devil also.
It can be temptation, yeah.
Yeah, it can be temptation as well.
And that's also where the
devil is leading you.
Let's say people say like, the devil and God's not real, but there's other people out there. There's people out there that can do bad things, that can hurt you, that can steal from you, that can attack you, and those people are wrong, and those people are evil. So you have to understand that there's good things and there's good people, but there's also bad things and there's bad people. Yes. So yeah. The last thing, God does not force you to serve Him. He gives us. I think this is. Let me just read this properly. So God does not force us to serve Him. He gives us the free will to follow Him or not. But there are eventual consequences to our behavior, decisions, or decisions. We can learn through trial and error to be obedient, or we can just be obedient, or we can read the Word. And we can see what is right and what is wrong, and how to be obedient. Very powerful. But yeah, Ash, that's it. What a conversation. I supposed to in the beginning verse everybody to a rock paper scissors. So just a base out of one, and we do it on shoot. Just so I can have it for the video. Rock paper scissors shoot. Rock paper scissors shoot. Okay, so I won there. Okay, but Ash, I'm not gonna lie, it's very, very powerful, and I think I like this. I think this is like, I know me and Rose talk about some Christian things, but this is like the first fully Christian topic that I went into, and I feel that people can learn from it, and you can get inspired by it. And the thing is, if there's other things like questions on this topic that people maybe want to question on, then like let us know, comment, and like if there's anything else, like you want Ashley back for another episode, then dial 911. dial the number down below so that Ashley can return. And yeah, you'll probably return even if they don't say anything. So yeah,
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, it has been.
if there's
It's been fun.
yeah. So another thing is if there's any topics there, new topics that you want us to cover, message it down below, or even message me over on Instagram. And then if there's any videos like you want me to react to, because I do also what it's called way to stalking or way to stalking reacts, where I watch a video online, and then let's say it's just like just a video of, I don't know, like a man cheating or something, then I'll give my point of view of why it's wrong.
Yes.
So if there's any videos you guys want my advice on or opinion on, or even like a full long video of that where me and Ashely can sit and do that on YouTube or on Instagram or on what's it called, on TikTok, type hashtag way to stalking. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here.
There's someone already say, yes, I want you
back. Yeah, you must come back. You must come back.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you
We
for.
want you here also.
Yeah, you must come. It's
Joseph.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Okay.
You know Jonathan Busbar?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Jonathan.
Okay. Hi, Jonathan.
but yeah, so guys, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you, Matthew, for having me here.
Nah,
Such a
and now you've
and privilege.
yeah, now you've experienced, and the thing is, this is the main thing about the whole thing is, this goes out online. This can inspire some people, can give some, especially like some Christians, direction. It can give other people that have questions some answers, and that's kind of the main thing. Like for me, if my child watches this one day,
yes,
because I don't have kids. Like
For
I'm
now,
yeah,
in the
for now,
future, in the
yeah.
future.
But when my child watches this, he can understand like some things in Christ and how to live life, and like the bad things and the good things. So it's very powerful, and that's kind of why I do this.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for being part of this experience, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's how we ended. That's what we do here on way to stalking. And I wonder who's gonna talk next. I do know. It's someone who's been on the podcast already. He's gonna come back. So make sure that you follow me on ItsNotAJulius on Twitch, and way to stalking on YouTube, so you can get the live streams as it's happening, as it's going down. Because yeah. Another guest is coming, but the way that we normally end these videos off, I don't think everyone watches to the end, but the way we normally end this thing off is, we just gotta walk out. We just gotta leave. You gotta leave the shot. So,
or me?
Yeah, both of us. I'm gonna slide this way. I don't know where you're going. I'm going.
Okay, I have to go.
I'm going.
Thank you.
Stay safe, peace out, Cape Town. Bada bing. I'm trying to find the button. Check 1 2, check 1 2. I think we're ready. But wait, who's talking? I don't know. Hey, ItsNotAJulius here.
Hey, it's Irene.
City Players here.
Hey, it's Noel.
Hey, it's Tenashi.
Hey, Katie.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for watching.
For more,
For more, stay tuned right here.
Right here.
Right here.
To wait, who's talking?
Wait to stalking. To wait to stalking.
To wait, who's talking?
to wait, who's talking?
Wait. Who's talking?
Bada bing.